find a way to stop that run game.
This game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Indianapolis won the toss and elected to defer. Colts playing down here in the Dallas area for the first time since 2006. Pat McAfee will kick it in the direction of Dwayne Harris. A pair of 10-4 teams are underway with a touchback. McAfee, best in the league at delivering touchbacks, and that's what he does to begin this one. Here's Tony Romo. Says it's the best he's felt all year. There's been all this talk about Murray and his hand injury. Well, Romo, of course, has had his own issues, so it's been kind of a quiet story for him this week with his back and all. But he told us he's feeling great. On the right side, however, Doug Free is going to be inactive with an ankle, so Parnell moves into that position. And Murray does indeed get the start as you see him lined up right behind Romo. There he is. They're going to have two tight ends to start it. Hannah will join Witten. Witten will slide over to that right side. And the Cowboys first snap, like it has been many times this year, a handoff to DeMarco for 3. Let's meet Greg Minuski's defense. And up front, Arthur Jones with his first start since week 1. He's missed some time this season. Verner, we met with him yesterday, the second-year linebacker out of Florida State. Impressive. Vontae Davis, he's had his own health issues, but he's just fine to give it a go here today. Murray's already coming out after one play, replaced by Joseph Randall. We'll call it 2nd and 8. And Romo across the middle to Bryant for a first down. Gains 9. And Randall did a good job protecting his quarterback.
Well, both of the backup running backs do a good job of protecting in passing situations for Tony Romo. Comes up inside. Nice job of stepping out and getting Eric Walden. That's a big key. You see this Colts defense. What's the big key for them today? Just like I said in the opening, can they find a way to shrink the field in the running game and keep it inside so those big defensive linemen can make the tackles?
Murray shuttles back in and again is called on. This time he's smacked around for no gain. Of course, what a sensational season it's been for Murray. By far the #1 rusher in the league. Has the most carries, most rush touchdowns, leads the league in scrimmage yards. You look at that, 1,687.
It's a lot of ones here. When you talk about this offensive line, it's athletic, it's powerful. I think it's the best one in the NFL. That's why it's such a key against this Indianapolis defensive line and outside linebackers.
2nd and 10, and Romo stepping up, tucking it under, and sliding for about 7 or 8.
Well, he pushed that to the limit. Really good job. Tony Romo is excellent in the pocket. Goes forward, goes sideways, but then tries to get that extra yard. And that was close to Quell Jackson. Gets a pretty big hit on him. Right away, though, you look at this Indianapolis defense. They're not going to sit back, because if you sit back against this Cowboy offense, I promise you, you will lose. They will march down the field on you. Here they are again, going to fake the blitz, or maybe the cover.
Best in the league on 3rd down against the best 3rd down defense, and Dallas wins the first of those matchups today. Well, let's see this. They didn't give him the spot I quite thought he would get. Witten marked really close to the chain. They go ahead and signal move it. Move it on down, 1st down.
Man, pretty quick judgment there. As I look at both chains on each side of the field, he's definitely past the yard marker. So you can tell he's past it. I think the official mark is on the Cowboys sideline. 3rd and short. Cowboys see a lot of that because of the run game.
And again, Murray with his 3rd handle. Nothing there. He'll lose a yard that time.
Well, there was a big key. Jason Garrett interested himself in seeing how DeMarco Murray carries that football today.
Jason Garrett, and a remarkable season, leading these Cowboys who, after losing right on this field week 1 against the 49ers, all kinds of dire predictions about Dallas maybe being a 4 or 5 win team this year. Now they have 10, looking for the division. 2nd and 11, and Romo again is going to scramble with it, and he's got first down yardage. It reaches out for an extra yard as he was being chased by Zach Kerr. Picks up 13.
Yeah, it's a play-action pass. I think Tony Romo kind of worried about the blitz, and that's why it looked like it was a busted play. DeMarco Murray saw the blitz. The heck with the fake. Protect the quarterback. That was a good job by him. So a couple things. DeMarco Murray ran the football, looked pretty comfortable, and did a good job picking up the blitz that time. Well, they want to be aggressive, Indianapolis does. They didn't put in that equation that Tony Romo could move out of the pocket.
Tony with 21 yards on the ground. That's a season high rushing for him. Here's Murray, and he is bounced back. Hit quickly by Chapman, and now that's 4 carries for Murray for no yards. Football fans, you can add some extra competition to the postseason. Pick this year's playoff winners, and you can win $5,000 with CBS Sports Perfect Playoffs games. See the rules and sign up cbssports.com/perfect.
You know, a lot of things to look at here too, Jim. There's 2 pretty good corners here for the Indianapolis Colts, and they're going to have to play some single coverage on Dez Bryant. Vontae Davis, Greg Toller, how will they hold up?
Dunbar came into the game, moved to a slot, and that's batted down and then chased for a moment by Bjorn Werner.
Yeah, look at him. How about that? Bjorn Werner outside, such a key in this game. 92, reads it. 280 pounds at one time, now down to 255, Jim, and playing the outside edge. A big key in today's game.
He left Germany in the 10th grade to come over and play football and finish his education.
Played a little flag football over there. He was a wide receiver and a safety. Pretty big guy, no matter what the age, playing those sets.
3rd and 11 for Dallas. Swing it over, and look at the Colts defend it. Jarrell Freeman just pancakes Randall, and a flag comes down right in the area of the hit. As Freeman made the tackle 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, number 50 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, first down.
You know, you make a great play, and then you take it too far, and you give the Cowboys a first down when you were going to take them off the field.
Yeah, you were. It's really could be a game changer. He had time to protect himself. I thought maybe it was going to be a personal foul hitting him in the helmet because he didn't have time to Dunbar to protect themselves. But there's the taunting, talking over the top of him.
With first, too, Dunbar was very fortunate to pin that football up against his shoulder pad. It was close to coming out.
Well, they want to stop that, Jim. That's still, in my eyes, a very, very tough call against the Colts.
There's Murray finally getting a little running room, and he's got 10 running behind Jeremy Parnell for 11.
It's such a tough running game to defense. They go sideways, and if you over-pursue that time, it looks like DeQuell Jackson's a little out of position. He gets blocked, and DeMarco Murray, you know, if he has 100 decisions to make in the run game, about 99 out of those 100, he makes the right decision.
5 first downs on this opening drive of the game, already picked up by the Cowboys. And now from the Colts 26. There's Murray starting to get comfortable, and he wiggles to about the 21. A couple of plays ago as he was shuttling in and out. Kind of shakes his hand for a moment. You know, he's a guy that loves to use the left hand as a stiff arm, and he
tried.
Instinctively was going to go with it, and they just kind of slid it above the shoulder.
And then something in his body says, don't hit him.
Yeah, don't touch him.
So, but it's still a good start. It's amazing. Surgery on Monday, out here playing on Sunday.
A plate and screws inserted on Monday. Yeah, 6 days later, he's on the field.
I'd be out for a month.
2nd and 6. And Romo to Witten. Down to the 5. Jason Witten has the Cowboys set up. Goal to go from the 5. Gain of 17.
Well, when you put all your energy in stopping the run, that means you're going to have receivers down the field one-on-one. And Jason Witten, Tony Romo, that connection. How about the timing? How about the ball placement? When you have Tony Romo saying to us, I'm playing the best I've ever played, that's a lot. Because he's not a guy that brags, doesn't just say those things nonchalantly. He has really been on throwing the football.
Showing these days that he knows the game cold with all the years of experience. Going to hand it off to Murray. And Murray looked like he might have a chance to take it home, but he's pushed back after one. That was a good tackle by Toller.
That's a good job. A lot of good things have really happened for the Colts defense. They're making some tackles. You know, they're trying to be aggressive. Of course, the personal or the taunting. There's Greg Minuski, defensive coordinator. Very aggressive, knows what he's up against. The best offensive line in football. And the quarterback and wide receiver to go along.
3 tight ends, 15th play of this drive that's taken over 8 minutes. Second and goal, flag out, touchdown to Bryant. Well, the official's waving as if he's going to take it away.
Illegal motion. Number 29 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Yeah, if you're going to go in motion, then stay in motion. Here he goes. He's coming forward. So not enough time to stop and reset. You've got to be stopped for 1 full second. That was Tony Romo's fault, not DeMarco Murray. You know, the quarterback's got to judge it. Give him time to get ready.
Brings the football back to the 9. Second and goal to go. Like to welcome the audience that saw the Texans come up big today. Victory over Baltimore. Jim Nantz, Sims, Tracy Wolfson. Cowboys have taken the opening kickoff and kept it now for over 8 minutes. And they're in the end zone for the touchdown to Terrence Williams.
Well, it's a perfect play for him. Cole Beasley on the inside is going to go here and then watch Des Bryant come underneath. I'm sorry, Terrence Williams. But it's it. You see the coverage. It's 2-on-2 to that side of the field. That is really tough. And Toller not able to stay with him.
Williams' 7th touchdown of the season. The Cowboys drive 80 yards in 15 plays and lead at 7-0. Again, it appeared to be stopped near midfield, but the taunting call against Freeman gave the Cowboys a new set of downs. They took advantage. Romo with a touchdown pass. 8 minutes, 24 seconds, the longest by time. Opening drive for the Cowboys in over 7 years.
Man, I'll tell you what, that helps your defensive stats, doesn't it? You know, for the Dallas Cowboys, sit over there for over half the quarter, and typical Cowboys drive, dominating the line of scrimmage.
Bailey sends it through the back of the end zone. Now we'll see Andrew Luck for the first time. Luck and Romo. They're meeting for the very first time today.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk.
The Chefs of Legends hospitality here at AT&T Stadium, the only NFL space with its own pastry kitchen. As the Cowboys drove down and scored a touchdown on the opening drive, now we finally see Andrew Luck playing in AT&T Stadium for the first time in his 3-year NFL career. I'm going to start out with both Dwayne Allen and Kobe Fleener, his 2 superb tight ends on the field. Going to run it with Herron, who is tackled for a loss. Brought back about 4 or 5 yards by Tyrone Crawford. Loss of 5, they'll rule it. All right, on the right side, they've got 2 subs in today. Thornton and Sherilis are out. So you got Lewis and Nixon. And Dante Moncrief gets the call for T.Y. Hilton, who sits with a hamstring. 3 wide, all to the left here for Luck and the Colts. 2nd and 15. And Herron runs it the first 2 plays. This time he's got 1 into the hands of Hitchens. This Dallas defensive Rod Marinelli up front. The likes of Mincy, and then Crawford you saw on the first stop for a big loss. McClain, who's got to be a candidate for comeback player of the year in the league this year. And Skandrick giving his team some leadership in that secondary. The Cowboys have struggled this year at home, 3 and 4 at home, but this crowd is very lively at the start of this one. 3rd and 14. And they run it yet again, this time with Richardson. And the Colts will come off the field, netting a loss of 2 on their 3 downs.
Yeah, terrible series by the Colts. They were hoping to come out and run the football and slow this game down even more. You know, you got to worry about it, Jim. You talked about it. They got a new right side of the line. Lance Lewis played, but Xavier Nixon at right tackle. They want to protect their quarterback. Very safe. And a good start for the Cowboy defense.
Well, they wanted to see this game slow down. The Cowboys offense did a good job of doing that.
Maybe not that way.
Yeah. So McAfee to punt. And he's going to fake it and throw it. And it's dropped. He had him wide open. Dewey McDonald was in the flat and wide open. McAfee was on target.
Well, it's another game changer. He's there. He's watching as the football gets near. He turns his head even before it gets close to his hands. And in a situation like this, you just want to catch it with both arms, cradle it, and fall to the ground because it's such a dangerous situation.
That was on 4th and 11. The Cowboys take over at the 19. They lead the league as a team in drops, the 36th of the year. The Cowboys have the fewest drops of any team. So this is a team that, of course, onside kicked a couple times early in the season successfully. Not talking about desperation onside kicks.
Right.
With McAfee successfully pulling those off.
But listen,
3 times in fact.
They were ready for that, Jim. In other words, that was a good call to change everything in this game. The play was there, but they didn't execute it.
And Dallas takes over in the red zone. Going for the quick strike. Romo to the end zone, and it's pulled down for the touchdown. And a flag. Des Bryant on the receiving end of it. Right off a 3-touchdown game.
Pass, holding. Number 28 defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
This looked very similar to what we saw last Sunday night in Philadelphia with Des Bryant.
The run game is so good. You have to do this every once in a while on the outside. You have to play Des Bryant, just you against me. And you found out, and I'm sure Greg Toller found out in person, this guy is bigger, stronger. His presence is big, and he just goes up over the top and makes the catch.
14th touchdown catch of the season for Bryant, who leads the league in that category. The fake punt should have been there. The Cowboys take advantage just 1 play later. Tomorrow, these geniuses can solve any problem, but they can't do it without each other. Don't miss the new hit series, Scorpion. Tomorrow, 9, 8 Central, only CBS. 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And since the beginning of the 2012 season, Dez now with the most touchdown catches over that span, including the most this year alone.
Well, when he's out there one-on-one, you gotta play the run. And when you do, Des Bryant is gonna light you up.
2 Romo touchdown passes, too, that gives him now 30 on the season. Luck hasn't even attempted a pass yet. His punter has.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bank of America. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We're back with Dallas already up 14-0. The Colts last week clinched their division with a win over Houston. Cowboys take the NFC East if they're victorious here today. Luck swings it over to Nix. And he's got 5.
Well, Jim, let's go back and look at that first touchdown. Free D. Look at this look. Williams coming underneath. The defenders actually pick themselves. And you look at it from every side, and, man, it looks pretty easy from that view. Good job by Tony Romo. Excellent play call. And, again, many, many times I'm going to say it today. What do? You try to stop the run or the pass against the Cowboys? You might stop one, hard to stop the other.
A little free D they have here. The technology at AT&T Stadium as they go with Heron for 2. He's wrapped up by Hitchens. And the Colts will have a 3rd and 3 coming up.
You know, it's hard to believe the Cowboys have the record here at home that they do because their offense is terrific. The offensive line, the most consistent unit in the NFL. And this defense, it plays with passion. They hustle. They don't make many mental mistakes. A lot of good things happening on this Cowboys team.
And they get their first down. And this opening quarter with 3 minutes to go as Luck's pass is broken up by Carr. He was trying to find Kobe Fleener, who looks around for a flag, but he won't find one.
Yeah, it's just a matchup that does not favor the Indianapolis Colts. A little bit of a pull, but that's nothing. Didn't affect the pass or the route by Kobe Fleener. And, you know, Jim, that's what you get. T.Y. Hilton out of the game. You might get some matchups that favor the Cowboy defensive backs.
Now I trust McAfee will be punting on this occasion.
Well, they're double teaming you. No, I was going to say they're going to double team the outside pass receivers.
And that is some boot. Harris goes all the way back near the 10. And is able to return it about 14 or 15. After a 61-yard punt. The new triplets in Dallas. Romo and Bryant and Murray come back out. Already up 14-0.
We're watching the NFL on CBS.
In the owner's box today, Mrs. Jones there in the second row carrying on a conversation. Governor Christie taking in a Cowboys game for the 2nd straight week. Charlotte Anderson, the Jones daughter, and Emmitt Smith. And Randall gets the carry out to the 30 for 5.
Well, Jim, let's go back and look at our free D here at AT&T Stadium. The safeties rotate. Tony Romo looks down the middle. Then he sees, oh, I got Dez Bryant out here one-on-one. Look at that fight going on. And, man, can he go up and make it look easy? And you were saying earlier, we saw that last week against the Eagles. When you give them that situation, they're going to throw it up to Dez Bryant.
Yeah, that catch looked almost identical to the ones he snatched out of the air last week. You saw Murray on the sideline here. Randall got the first down carry. Here's 2nd and 5 for Dallas. Romo picks something off of it. And a flag is out. What a catch, too, by Bryant. He was being covered by Vontae Davis.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 21 defense. Penalties decline. Jolt of the play, first down.
24 yards here, Phil. How about the hands?
Yeah, boy, the hands, the size, the presence, and as he inbounds, 1, 2, he's in, holds on. Yeah, I love how he can just hold it one hand, Dez Bryant. Well, Chuck Pagano said we got to maybe double team him some because he's a monster. You're right, he is. Just so big and physical and determined to outfight you for the ball.
It's Randall. Slips through, and he's got another first down. Gain of 11. And Witten threw a block there to help spring him.
Great job. Watch the free outside raw arm that Randall breaks there. And that's what you have to do. That was DeQuell Jackson, the middle linebacker. You want to keep that arm free. He did it, but can you bring a running back down with one hand? And that time they couldn't against Randall. Well, they like Randy. Remember, he came in the game against the Bears. His first carry goes around left, made some people miss, and scored a touchdown.
Getting another handle here. It's time for about a minute to go in the first quarter. Let's go back to Tracy.
Well, thanks, Jim. It's like Jason Garrett told us, DeMarco Murray will be limited, and he was on the sideline when they took the field for this drive. He didn't even have his helmet on, and then he put it back on. He sauntered over to the sideline, watched a few plays. He was grimacing in some pain, and now he's just watching, so it's something to keep an eye on, guys.
Yeah, you wonder, thank you, Tracy, 14-0 and driving again. Do you really need to have him in the game right now?
Well, you know, Jim, we talked about it. When you put Dunbar and Randall in there, they have been productive.
2nd and 7. Open is Randall. Romo spots him. And he's 2 yards short of the first, maybe a long one. Yeah, but why would you right now, if you've got a 14-0 lead, you don't even need to run a play now till the start of the second quarter. If you got a chance to expand the lead and keep Murray on the sideline today,
wouldn't surprise me to see that. Manage the game, manage your players. I'm sure that's what they're doing right now. And the fact that he keeps holding that hand up wide to keep the blood out there and keep some of the pain away from that hand.
And we're through one. Tony Romo 8 out of 9 in that first quarter, including a pair of touchdown passes. What a rough start for the Colts. A taunting call, and that drop leading to the Cowboy touchdowns. All one-sided after one here. 10 first downs to none. 2 touchdowns for Dallas. 14-0 lead. Jim Nance, Bill Sims, Tracy Wolfson. 3rd and 1, and it's Randall, and he could have been stopped behind the line, but he's able to shake it off, pick up 2 and a first down. There was early contact on him, or tried to be, to Chapman. So Randall getting this series, and he's got 4 carries for 20 yards.
Well, you want penetration in the backfield. The Colts D-line got it that time, but somebody's got to be there behind it to fill the hole and stop the run.
Got on first down. Open is Beasley, who's on the way to the end zone for the touchdown, Cowboys.
Well, they're making it look easy because it is easy. It's just, what do? They're clicking everywhere. Look at the space Cole Beasley has. LaRon Landry, the safety, was about 12 yards off of him. Tony Romo keeps the linebackers from getting underneath. Then you got to tackle him in the open space. Very hard to do. Cole Beasley, man, has really found his spot on this football team.
Well, that's his 4th touchdown of the season. 3 touchdowns for Romo. Not even a full minute into the second quarter. Beasley, the homegrown kid from Little Elm High School and SMU. Cole Beasley has had 4 touchdown catches in the last 5 games. We saw him at Chicago. He had a 2-touchdown night. Well, he's in again here.
When you got Jason Witten, Tony Romo, DeMarco Murray, and of course Dez Bryant, he's going to see some favorable situations, and he, like I said, he's taking advantage of it.
The Bailey kick's going to be run out by Josh Cribbs, and he is taken down short of the 20. So Tony Romo has hit his last 7 passes, and 3 of his last 5 have gone for scores. He's also rushed for 21 yards. That was his second one, the one to Bryant, and then this one to Beasley, who got away from DeQuell Jackson. Terrence Williams caught the first score of the game. Fake toss over the top. Allen unable to hold on. And the Colts have yet another drop.
Well, Anthony Spencer got that drop. Didn't go for the fake. That's the one thing about the Cowboys defense. They might not have the overall talent to be one of the best in the league right now, but they hustle, and that play exemplifies everything. Staying there, doesn't chase the run, and gets an incompletion because of his presence.
The Colts are down 21, and they have not even picked up a first down. Luck on second down. Another drop. Bouncing right off the chest of Dwayne Allen. Tomorrow on CBS, 'tis the season for a holiday episode of NCIS Los Angeles. Join in the fun tomorrow at 10, 9 Central only, CBS. There's T.Y. Hilton, again, not dressed, out with a hamstring. Shaking his head, wondering what in the world's going on here. Third and 10 to Nix, trying to fight through traffic. Cowboys, including Bruce Carter, have hold of him. And again, the Colts will bring out the punting unit.
When you throw screens, if you want to stop them, can somebody outside make the runner hesitate? There's the hesitation. Look at the hustle from behind. Look how many guys. You try to get 11 guys into the picture. I don't know if they got 11, but they got at least 9. So the hustle, being fresh, helping the Dallas defense.
So McAfee moves over. He's number 3 in the league in gross punting average, number 2 in net. Harris in the 31. 2 Colts are on him, including McNary. Tony Romo off to just a terrific start here.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. Unbroken, in theaters Christmas Day. And by the all-new Volkswagen Golf family, 2015 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Well, that's the way you barbecue down here in Texas. Hard 8 style as the Cowboys have the ball again. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns to this point. They do have Murray in. So much for that idea that maybe they would just keep him on the sideline. He's got 1.
Well, here's free D. Let's look at Cole Beasley. Look how far the defensive backs were off. And then the pursuit, you can't get mad about this. You had 3 guys all in one spot. Good job by Beasley, just slipping past them and getting the touchdown.
Andrew Luck with 2 completions to this point for 12 yards. Romo over 100 with 3 touchdowns. He's got more with Witten. And Jason Witten takes it back to the Indianapolis side of the field. And Murray that time helped protect Romo.
Here comes the blitz. Look at the guy coming around. How about that? DeMarco Murray got just enough of the blitzer to allow Tony Romo a zone behind it. And look how wide open Jason Witten is. So the start of this game, Indianapolis being aggressive, coming after Dallas. And Dallas has the answer every time. Throw it to Des Bryant. Block the blitzers.
3rd catch for Witten. Goes for 20. Murray running it for the 9th time. Every run so far for Murray today has come on first down. And give him 1. That's 9 carries for 18 yards for Murray. As we take a look at today's nationwide Skycam. I think a lot of people wondered how the Colts would come out since they did lock up the division last week, and there wasn't a lot of a chance to really climb out of the 3 spot and get any higher, with both New England and Denver ahead of them, both of whom have defeated Indianapolis this season.
Look, this score has nothing to do with the fact that they have their seeding locked up.
2nd and 9, Romo. Dunbar still in bounds. And is tackled finally near the 30. Another 14 picked up.
You know, Jim, people aren't going to say, oh, well, the Colts, they had nothing to play for. They're not going to move up. They're 2 games behind. All that. Look at the games around the NFL today, and I'll show you the teams that had nothing to play for and what they did. So the Colts, they're emptying everything out at this Dallas offense. The Dallas offense is just too good. This offensive line is now dug free at right tackle. Parnell in there. They've been great.
Again, Murray, first down carry. And that's his second good run of this game. Close to another 10. Running behind Parnell and Hannah. And Martin threw a good block as well. Give him 9.
Well, he can be more careful out there running the football with that left hand now because of the lead, the situation. But what it does, it gives him a feel for this game and really for the next, because that hand's going to take a while to heal.
We saw Emmitt Smith earlier up in the owner's box. DeMarco needs 87 yards in this game to break Emmitt's Cowboys single season rushing mark. And there's a good hit on Murray after 2.
Arthur Jones back in the starting lineup, defensive lineman for the Colts.
Yeah, Emmitt's single season rushing record of 1,773 yards in danger of falling today. Of course, he's the all-time rusher in the history of the league. The great Emmitt Smith. Does so much for charity here in the Dallas area.
Tony Romo really taking his time. You know, it's the right thing to do. 21-0. Slow the game down.
First and 10. And Murray, he's got it outside. And he's near the 11.
It's so hard to keep them inside. Watch out here. Jason Witten gets Newsome, and Newsome cannot, what they call, set the edge. Why is that important? Because you want to shrink the running lanes for the running back so the inside linebackers and the defensive lineman can make the tackle. Once he gets outside, it's going to be a big game.
$8:20 to go in quarter number 2, and the Cowboys trying to take it for the 4th time to the end zone. 2nd and 2. And falling forward for 1 is Murray.
You know, one thing that's changed a little already, Jim, I don't think you'd be surprised by this, that they're putting 2 defensive backs looking at Des Bryant now, because 1 is not enough.
This is the part of the field, too, where you wouldn't be surprised to see Romo go back to him again. So he's 45 away from the Emmitt single season Cowboy record. Of course, Emmitt just peeled off so many outstanding seasons. One second on the play clock, 3rd and 1. Romo with time to Witten, and Witten's down inside the 1.
Well, it looks like he's covered, but Tony Romo just waits and it just sticks the football in there. DeQuell Jackson is right next to him. Watch this as you go inside. Here he is. He's locked up. All you need is a little space. Nice job of just the amount of push off by Jason Witten to get open, and a good throw.
Cowboys are going to go with a fullback, Tyler Klutz, and a tailback in Murray. Murray, who had 2 touchdowns on the ground against Philadelphia on Sunday night. He's got 11 on the season. And get the handle here, and Murray is across for the touchdown.
Really good job. Zach Martin did a good job. Larry did a nice job. Klutz goes in there. They're making it look too easy.
Romo's only missed one throw in this game. 12 out of 13. 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. This first Cowboy touchdown on the ground. And not surprisingly, Murray has his 12th of the season. 28-0. Romo and Dez are enjoying every minute of it. It's the Cowboys in a romp. On 60 Minutes, Scott Pelley reports from Cuba on the historic shift in relations, plus a surprising interview with the godfather of the Tea Party, Senator Tom Coburn. That's tonight, only CBS. Luck and the Colts will start at the 20. They've been blanked in this game and don't even have a first down. And they've dropped 3 passes. This one really was crucial. Down 7-0, set up the Cowboys, who one play later got it in from the 19 on a throw. 2 drops by Allen. They haven't even gotten past their own 30, the Colts.
Well, they came in this game hoping they could run the football, protect Andrew Luck, and really help this offensive line out. But so far, no chance, no rhythm, losing the point of attack, getting overpowered, and they got to find a way to get something going.
Richardson, the running back, play action fake to him. Luck, and goes to Nix for 5. Hakeem Nicks, the former Giant. Looked like
that's Corey Redding
saying this is embarrassing.
He's from Texas, played at the University of Texas. Having a terrific year, but he knows when you can't affect the passer and get run on.
2nd and 5. And Luck with the defender closing in on him. Another drop. And Allen has 3 in this first half. Would have been wasn't an easy catch, but certainly was one that you got to make.
Yeah, he's going to go down the field, the double tight end release. This is really well designed. I have not seen that concept. So it worked perfectly. You got the defense. They couldn't figure it out in time. They switched positions. Pressure on Luck made the football come up short. Still should have been caught.
That was George Selvey who applied that pressure. 3rd and 5. And the Colts were not set.
False start. Number 60 offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That was Lance Lewis, the right guard, getting the start in this one because Hugh Thornton's out.
Well, Lance Lewis is the guy in charge of hitting the center, Harrison, and telling him when to snap it. But the crowd noise got going. A little confusion, and he stood up. And just a tougher 3rd down situation.
3rd and 10. It's Reggie Wayne. Wayne finds the first down marker. First down of the game for Indianapolis.
Yeah, good job to get away from the rush, protect your quarterback. Another screen on 3rd down. Good blocking down the field, but Holmes is in now at center, Jim. So Jonathan Harrison is out.
And Colin Holmes, 2nd-year player out of Southern Cal, drafted in the 4th round a year ago. He's had some injury issues, and they've been going with the undrafted rookie out of Florida, Harrison, almost the entire year as Luck looks downfield, and Fleener makes the catch. We do have a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Number 71 offense. 5-yard penalty.
That's on the right tackle. Again, subbing today. Nixon in for Sherilis. Takes away the 22-yard pass play.
Yeah, 71, top of your screen. Gets caught going backwards. The pass took a little longer. Anthony Spencer just kept turning the edge. And Nixon, finally, it took so long, had to grab him. But you can throw the football on this Cowboys defense. The 23rd in the league against the pass. They're not a great pass rushing unit. You can get the time and find guys open deep down the field.
It's Moncrief for no gain. And that defense so far in this game has given up only 28 yards passing, 29 total yards by the Colts.
Brandon Carr on the outside. The defensive backs, I will say this for him, really good job by Brandon Carr, keeping his outside arm free and making the tackle. They are aggressive in coverage, and they all are aggressive going for the tackle. Rod Marinelli, he just believes, hustle, know your job, and they work on tackling every single day in practice. It shows when you watch them play.
It's 2nd and 20. And that's Richardson.
So, can I ask you a question, Jim? So I was asked this in the pregame today. A lot of people say this. You know, can the Cowboys handle prosperity? You know, now they've had success. Will it go to their head? What would you say to that?
Well, I think they've answered that,
They've answered that
already with 28 points.
Old worn-out cliche.
Yeah.
So whenever it does go bad against the Cowboys, oh, well, see, we knew they couldn't handle it.
3rd and 11. Giving chase. Now Luck to Fleener. And he is going to be stopped a couple short. When it comes to the Cowboys, a lot of people want to make some fast, hard conclusions about them. I know after they got beat by the 49ers week 1 on this field, everyone was saying this team is going to struggle, might be the worst team in the league. It goes on and on. This coach right here has had so much scrutiny when actually he should be somebody we're talking about now for Coach of the Year.
Oh, I agree, because I think it was unanimous across the board with everybody in the media that the Cowboys, not only they lose this year, would be one of the worst teams in the NFL.
McAfee just missed a big board. And of course, he also...
He missed the ball.
Yeah, he did.
Not a good kid.
Off the sideline here, let's see where they finally come all the way up to the 33. Just a 29-yard boot for one of the best.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Game of War. Play free now. And by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families.
Some of the Cowboys art collection here at the stadium, and that's been something that Mrs. Jones is very proud of. Gene taking that on. And done such a wonderful job of dressing up this beautiful stadium. Okay, the Cowboys have 3 minutes to go here in the half. Murray does not start this series at running back. It's Randall instead, and he gets it on the toss. And he was met pretty quickly by LaRon Landry for a loss of 1. Again, the Cowboys, with a victory today, would take the NFC East. And it's been since 2009, the last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs. They've won the division title twice in the last 15 years. Trying to lock it up here, and they're off to just a huge start. 2nd and 11. And it's Beasley. We're about 5, and we'll bring it to the 2-minute warning here. Who saw this coming? Dallas 28, Indianapolis nothing. The Verizon halftime report. JB and Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest scores and highlights. First half analysis. The Verizon halftime report. Coming out of the 2-minute warning, Dallas with a 3rd and 6.
Encroachment, number 97 defense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Maybe 3rd and 1. Arthur Jones was the one who jumped.
Yeah, they were going to blitz that time. That's why Arthur Jones was on edge. He thought he was going to have a chance to get there. And I know they were going to blitz because everybody covering the wide receivers was backed off to try to make Tony Romo throw it short, then make the tackle. Of course, now that all goes away. Hard to get this Cowboy team, this offense, you know, in situations where you can take advantage of them because of their run game, because of the offensive line, everything. The scenarios that you draw up always favor the Cowboy offense.
They bring in a new package off the penalty. They've got Klutz at fullback, Randall the running back, Randall running for it, and he is taken down by Jackson. And the Cowboys will have to punt. And timeout called by the Colts with 1:54. Was a Cowboy fan. Chris Jones gets to make a cameo in this game. And that sails out of bounds. Colts will have 2 timeouts and 1:46 to try to muster something before the intermission. That AFC playoff picture, still a lot of things to be settled. New England clinched a first-round bye with its squeaker over the Jets today, 17-16. Denver and Cincinnati play tomorrow night. Pittsburgh's in the playoffs, clinched a berth today with its win over Kansas City. And San Diego, if it wins next Sunday at Kansas City, the Chargers would be in.
How about that? After last night's game, what a job, Phillip Rivers.
False start, number 71 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
With a lot of reports swirling that Rivers is playing with some pretty severe back issues.
Yeah, you know, I believe that because last night he did have a little trouble getting started physically, I thought, in the game. But, man, they threw it so much. He got hot, warmed up. And once again, Phillip Rivers came through in the clutch. We've seen him do it many times.
Came back from 21 down. Just an amazing comeback by the Chargers as Luck is able to unload it. And it's Herron with the catch. And they're going to hustle after the 7 yards.
Well, we didn't want to get in this type of game because we just saw it. The hit on Andrew Luck went down to the field, or the turf, hard.
Flag out. Catch made. Kobe Fleener.
Illegal formation. Number 71 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, repeat second out.
Getting obvious passing situations, which are in right now. Anthony Spencer got a second chance against Nixon and gets the big hit. Then what does he do the very next play? He gets in the backfield, doesn't get close enough to the line of scrimmage, Jim, because he's worried about the speed on the outside. So you back up and you get the flag.
It's the second penalty of this first half against Nixon. 2nd and 13. They go ground, trying to surprise the Cowboys. And Herron, they're only 3.
You know, you look at this, Dallas could think about calling a timeout, but no, they don't. You've got to respect Andrew Luck and this passing offense. They're so dynamic. You call a timeout, you could be helping them.
3rd and 10, and Luck. Nice catch. That was Nix. And you've noticed that Nix has stepped up his play in recent weeks.
Definitely looks like he's in great game shape and making some tough catches.
Timeout, Indianapolis. Hakeem Nicks with a great grab, his 4th of this game, has given the Colts just their 2nd first down. Inside of a minute to go, 2nd quarter. And again, they're after Luck. He's able to flip it over to Herron, but a flag is on the field, and Herron advances to the 39 of the Cowboys, goes for 22.
Great job by Andrew Luck. Got away from the rush.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 26 defense. Penalties decline. Result of the play, first down.
I know one thing, they're going to have to help out Nixon at right tackle. Sterling Moore on the outside. That was legal. Hit him in the shoulder pad, but looked like it hit him in the face. That's why the flag was thrown.
First time today the Colts have advanced past midfield.
They put a tight end over there next to Nixon to maybe give him a little more time against that outside pass rusher.
Pocket sealed. Luck down the field. Nearly intercepted. That was Carr. Almost came away with it, but Moncrief broke it up. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report with JB and the crew. All the latest scores, the highlights, the first half analysis, some playoff talk about who got in already today. Talked about the Steelers. Packers clinched a berth. There'll be some big games week 17. 2nd and 10. And it's Fleener getting out of bounds at about the 35.
Good job by Andrew Luck getting rid of the football. Another free runner. Henry Melton's coming at him. But listen, this is where the Colts are dangerous. Even with the score the way it is, 28-0, when you keep putting the football in Andrew Luck's hands, he's a down-the-field thrower. He looks for big plays. And don't forget, the more he throws, the slower that pass rush is going to get.
Third and 6 with 29 seconds. They're around them and forced to throw into the ground. But another flag. Flags in the secondary.
Holding, number 42 defense. 5-yard penalty and automatic first down.
Called on Barry Church.
Going against Fleener, puts both arms out. Yeah, he puts the arm bar, so that's an easy call. The one thing, why did they want to run the football today, this Colts offense? Of course, to protect the quarterback, try to protect the young offensive line. But also when you pass, if you watch the Cowboys defensive lineman, Rod Marinelli, he is a special. They change positions, they cross. And it's very tough on any offensive line, especially one inexperienced like the Colts.
1st and 10 for the Colts. Approaching 20 seconds to go, and Herron with a wiggle and a gain of about 8 and a timeout. Indianapolis. That's the last one for the Colts. 17 seconds to go. Ball at the 22. No, Indianapolis cannot stop the clock again. Luck has hit 9 of his last 10. Can they put up something before halftime? Luck stands in there, goes to the end zone, and he's intercepted. It's intercepted by Wilcox, who's running it across the 30. Nix is waiting for him at the 40, so he'll just fall and close out the half. That's the first turnover of the game for either side, and Luck is angry at himself.
Well, he should be. You know, you want to get 3 here, and they're playing safe defense all the way. And I think he's throwing it to the back of the end zone thinking his guy will go up there and knock it down, but they were waiting on it. They had the middle covered, double team both outsides. And you got to be careful to protect yourself too.
J.J. Wilcox with his 3rd pick of the season. His 2nd-year safety out of Georgia Southern. And let's go down to Tracy.
Coach, everything clicking right now. What can you say about the start that your team had here in the first half?
Well, it's just a start is what I can say, and that's what our players are going to hear right now. We got to treat it like it's 0-0 and get back to work coming out here in the second half.
Any thought of playing it safe with DeMarco in the second half?
No, DeMarco will continue to play just like the other guys. We need to finish this ball game.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
They're up 28, and they're 30 away from the NFC East title. 28-0 Cowboys. The Verizon halftime report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. Complete domination the first 2 quarters for the Dallas Cowboys, leading at 28-0. Here's a look at the Bows game changer. Romo to Dez Bryant, 14th touchdown catch of the season for Dez. Romo throws for 3 touches. Murray scores the other one. And now the Colts will receive the 3rd quarter kick after deferring at the start. Josh Cribbs all the way to the back of the end zone. And Bailey sends it through the back. You saw this one coming just like this, didn't you?
Sure.
Yeah, sure you did.
I can always see all these games, how they're going to turn out.
And what about the second half while you're at it?
Well, yeah, how about that?
Okay.
Listen, there's no secret for the Colts here in the second half. They got dominated physically. And when you play a team like the Cowboys as good as they are, you got to be perfect. They made 3 errors that were just to themselves. The interception at the end of the first half, that was 3 points. The taunting penalty and the drop fake punt. Those could have changed this game around.
Luck 12 out of 18. 12 out of 18 in the first half for 99 yards with that pick. And that's Nix with his 5th catch. Let's go back to Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. I asked Chuck Pagano how he digs himself out of this hole, and he just said, we couldn't get anything done offensively. He sighed. He said he doesn't have any answers. He said the most frustrating part, though, was the penalties, 6 of them. And then I asked him about the fake punt, and he said, we just didn't execute. He said, as for the defense, we need to challenge their wide receivers, Jim.
2nd and 6, and that's tipped at the line and intercepted. The Cowboys, Hitchens comes away with it. So Luck picked off twice in a 3-pass sequence going back to the end of the first half.
Well, it's the push inside. That's Nick Hagan. And sometimes it's not about hitting the quarterback and sacking him. It's about the pressure. And when you push the pocket back, it makes it hard to throw over the defensive lineman. Boy, Andrew Luck, he flies in there every time there's an interception, try to make the tackle. Hitchens has had to play all 3 linebacker spots for the Cowboys defense, and what a job he has done coming in and playing very well.
We were talking to Jason Garrett even back a few weeks ago in Chicago before a Thursday night game, talking about how Hitchens, a rookie out of Iowa, has emerged. And that's his first NFL interception. They've had, of course, all kinds of injuries at the linebacking position. 1st and 10, and it is Murray for a couple. He had a 40-yard first half with a touchdown.
Well, it was interesting what Jason Garrett said. They're going to keep him in there and let him play. And look, they went all week. What did Jason Garrett tell us yesterday, Jim? That, well, I read in the papers after that he's going to play. You know, we'll see. But he got out there, DeMarco Murray, worked in practice Wednesday, Thursday, did more on Friday. And quite an accomplishment to get to this game and play the way he has.
2nd and 8. He has a Colt waiting for him right away, Bjorn Werner. Well, he was actually telling his coach on the plane ride home from Philadelphia, I'm going to play next week. He says, you can bank on it. Don't even think about it.
Well, you know, there's something to that. You know what he did? He just set a mindset, and he was determined. And, of course, he didn't know how the surgery was going to go, but once they said it went fine, and says a lot about this team. Says a lot about him, but the determination, they've been determined all year long, this Dallas Cowboys team. Especially on the offensive side, it's carried this football team. The big reason why they're 10-4.
We got Street to the left. This is Williams in motion. 3rd and 14, Romo. And he's going to be sacked back at 34 by Arthur Jones.
Didn't take a chance. That's a good job. The sack was big. It's going to make it a long field goal, but nobody opened down the field as you look. And the one thing about Tony Romo, he knows when to go down. You watch the receivers down the field, the coverage is good. But we talked about that too. When you know you can't get away, get down, don't take the extra hits, stay healthy, and that's one of the reasons why he has been in this lineup most of the year.
It's 52 yards. Davis 5 out of 6 for the year from outside of 50, but not this time. And the Colts will be able to take over at the 42. Bailey wide right from 52. Unable to cash in off the interception. Best starting point of the day for the Colts, who are reporting that Dwayne Allen has a knee issue, questionable to return, and Richardson is met behind the line by Rolando McClain, as well as Spencer, and a loss of 2. Now, this has been the good stuff for Andrew this year. Tops in the league in passing yards, most touchdown passes. And at times it hasn't been so good. 16 picks, including 2 of those today.
Well, he's an aggressive thrower. I do like that. You take that and pressure, 2 reasons why so many interceptions.
2nd and 12, and Wayne makes the catch, and McClain slams him down. It'll be 3rd down. We got a Cowboy injured back at the 31. And that's Henry Melton, the former Bear. They signed as a free agent in the offseason.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Honda, where you can get great deals during Happy Honda Days.
It's the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge across the Trinity River in Dallas. Watch this tackle a moment ago by Rolando McClain, and Jason Garrett told us every time he makes a tackle, he makes a statement. We saw it there. Melton, by the way, was able to walk off under his own power. 3rd and 5 for the Colts, who have managed only 4 first downs in this game. Pressure on Luck, and he got it away. But it'll lose yardage, and a flag is out again as Richardson makes the grab. And again, it's McClain making another statement with a tackle.
Holding, number 62 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Holding call on Holmes.
Well, Andrew Luck, man, could have been, got hit in the face mask, which anytime you hit the face mask of the helmet of the quarterback, supposed to be a penalty. But he has been hit many times here today. Hitting the ground, people always around his arm when he's throwing the football. A lot of dangerous situations for your franchise quarterback.
And you can see that Luck, when he saw the flag, thought it was going to be against the Cowboys. He thought they were going to call that. McAfee's punt bounces in. On the far side, we've got another penalty marker. So we'll check the marker. Here's Luck again. Cowboys have been in his face most of the game.
Field, kicking team number 57. 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the 20-yard line. 1st down, Dallas.
McNary flagged for that, so the Cowboys will have a little better starting point than the 20. Matchup of Devils, Sun Devils, Blue Devils. The Sun Bowl, one of the great long-time relationships between the CBS television network and anyone out there. We continue our annual visit to El Paso coming up Saturday, and we look forward to CBS Sports ringing in the bowl season with Arizona State and Duke. And all of our friends down in El Paso through so many years, Jimmy Rogers and many others. As we'll be back to broadcast that here on CBS. 1st and 10 with Murray. Still not down. Kind of foot away from the 1st down the way they're going to mark it. You know, we've seen the Colts a few times this year, including against Pittsburgh and against, look at this, against Peyton, Ben, and Tom. Manning, Roethlisberger, and Brady. They allowed 11 touchdowns and over 500 yards a game and 41 points a game. In all the rest of the game, the other 11 games, they gave up 10 touchdowns total. 11 in those 3 matchups.
Well, the defense has got some great numbers against some of the other competition. 3rd down defense, completion percentage, all that stuff. But you're right, against the good quarterbacks, they've struggled.
And Murray's got the 1st down. Of course, Roethlisberger beat him up for 6 touchdown passes. Murray up to 48 yards with that run.
They do not have that elite pass rusher You know, they have Robert Mathis out for the year. He could change this defense dramatically because he could give them some pressure when they need it in obvious passing situations. And then it's a double-edged sword. Now you're forced to be aggressive, and when you're aggressive against good receivers like here today, hard to cover them one-on-one down the field.
First down, Dallas. Play action fake, and Romo with a sealed pocket is able to again hook up with Des Bryant for a first down, right in front of Vontae Davis.
Pretty easy to see what he does when they throw in these situations. He's going to look deep in case they play for the run. They don't. Good job by the Colts staying back. So Tony Romo, oh my gosh, look at the space he had to throw the football. I mean, there's not a defender within 5 yards of Tony Romo.
By the way, Tony's only, again, thrown one incompletion in this game. He's hit his last 12 passes.
Well, he talked about it. He says, I'm piercing the ball better than I ever have.
And Murray's running the ball better than he ever has in any of his first 3 other seasons. And it starts with this offensive line that the Cowboys have emphasized in the draft in recent years.
Well, look at it. Nobody around him. Oh, my gosh. This is really, as you see it the second time, you understand why he's only thrown one incompletion. But when he says piercing the ball, what he means is how it's coming out of his hand perfectly. It's, you know, it's like hitting a driver on the sweet spot every time. That's what he does when he's throwing. And his fundamentals, he said, they're great, and they hold up during the game.
Saw Jerry and Stephen Jones with Emmett joining them now, and back to Witten. Tossed down by Freeman about a yard away. We were just looking at all those offensive linemen. They went offensive line first round 3 of the last 4 years with Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, this year Zach Martin, and they stuck to their game plan this year. A lot of people thought, oh, no knows, maybe they'll go Johnny Manziel with the 16th pick. All the speculation, they went right back to the line again.
That would have been a great move. That's what they needed. You know, you got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah, I know he's coming off injury, but you got to build one part of your team that is super strong. And for the Cowboys, that's the offensive line.
3rd and 1, and they use that offensive line on short yardage and again convert.
You know, but just think, as we were talking to the Cowboys, talking to Tony Romo about this offense, and he said, look, he's got the experience now. We know he's got the talent, and the circumstances are right for him to put up the numbers that we see. Why? Because of the offensive line, and whatever you do, he has Jason Witten, Des Bryant. They're a matchup nightmare when you play this Cowboys offense.
Romo, if he gets one more completion here, would have the longest completion streak of his career. He's at 13 right now as Murray slips between defenders, gets down to about the 33.
Well, they're just overpowering him now. And you know, the will sometimes leads you. As you look inside, Zach Martin, boy, nice job, just gets such contact. They're so solid in their contact, you can't get off the blocks. That was a big key for this defensive line of the Colts today. It has not come through.
And Murray comes back out. I still can't get over what he told us a few weeks ago in Chicago, how he consumes so much water, 24 bottles of water in the 24 hours leading up to game time. About 400 ounces is what he told us. 2nd and 3. Romo for his streak. He's got it. A new Romo record. 14 straight completions. That one to Witten.
Yeah, we've seen him have to move a couple times today in the pocket. That time just nice moving in the pocket. Watch how he keeps his hands on the football. One of the reasons why he's so accurate is because he keeps his hands on it. He throws with his upper body, which gets his legs involved, and it's right on target.
So Murray, back to the water story, gains about 10 pounds going into the game, drinking all that water. I've been trying it for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, how's it working out?
I'm up all night.
You're gaining a lot of weight.
Yeah,
I know that.
I'm getting no sleep. 1st and 10. This time he is taken down for a yard loss. LaRon Landry comes up to make that hit. as we approach 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Well, this has got to be really disheartening for this Colts team. The offensive line, we knew it was beat up coming in here. I think they had it just goes to show you. I think the plan was terrific on both sides of the ball. But it takes more than just a good plan. You got to have the guys to back it up. And today, the Cowboys just better than the Colts.
2nd and 11. And Romo to the end zone. Touchdown, Dallas. Jason Witten.
It's everything you want. Time to throw it. Look to the right. Nobody open. And then Jason Witten going down the middle of the field against the linebacker. Watch how he looks to the right side. Doesn't like it, even though Beasley is open. It's still nobody around Tony Romo. That's impossible for DeQuell Jackson to stay on Jason Witten that long.
Tony Romo with his 4th touchdown pass of the game. Witten was their leading receiver last Sunday night. And he is again here today, his 7th catch for 90 yards and his 5th touchdown of the year. On that touchdown throw, Tony Romo just broke Troy Aikman's Cowboy passing yardage record, most in franchise history. 32,961 yards. And what a play to break the record on. A touchdown pass to his buddy Witten.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. And by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network.
And the Cowboys are going to be seeing a new quarterback. Matt Hasselbeck is replacing Andrew Luck, who goes out with his lowest ever passer rating in a game of 41.7. Threw for 109 yards and picked twice. A rare off day for Andrew as Hasselbeck hands it to Herron for 1. And you've already qualified for the playoffs. You're not going to win this game. And he's already taken some punishment, so why risk your franchise player with the postseason looming?
Yeah, they would keep him in if they thought, I guess the easiest way to say it, if it was a safe atmosphere. They were worried about it coming in today. You saw Pep Hellman, the offensive coordinator, and the score 35-0. You think this Cowboy defensive line was worried about the run game?
They're ready to tee off. Hasselbeck gets it over to Wayne, who is driven back with authority by Carter. Again, you look at the AFC playoff picture. Patriots clinched a first-round bye with their victory over the Jets. Indianapolis came in the 3 position. Pittsburgh's in the playoffs with its victory today over Kansas City. San Diego will qualify next week if it wins at Kansas City. Here's the 3rd and 4, and the Colts pick up the first down. The forward progress will be out at the 31 for Moncrief. Tracy Wolfson down on the sideline. Did check with the Colts personnel just to double check, and this is just a coach's decision as suspected. And Luck just being pulled for safety's sake, and again the game out of reach with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. Herron has Carter on him.
I think this Colts team, when you look at what's gone on here today, they thought that maybe they could run the football, because last week when the game was on the line, they needed to get rid of some time off the clock at the end against the Houston Texans. They marched the football down the field, ate up a lot of clock, had a lot of good runs, and they were really hoping that was going to carry over into this week, and it did not.
They've rushed it in this game for 2 yards total. 8 carries, 2 yards for the Colts. We have 121 yards total. That's all. Nix meets up with Sterling Moore. Gain of 8. Hey, if you thought your fantasy season was over, it's not. You can play for free. You can win a trip to Super Bowl 50 next season in Santa Clara. Join today, NFL.com/playoff challenge. Hasselbeck in his 16th year out of Boston College. Of course, the starter for so long in Seattle. Won an NFC title for the Seahawks. Took them to the Super Bowl where they fell to the Steelers up in Detroit. And incomplete. Bobbled long enough by Wayne that the Cowboys defense actually had a play on a pick.
Yeah, it's amazing. Boy, it's contagious. The football, once players start dropping it, well, this football comes out.
It's been tough for Reggie in recent weeks with a number of drops. He's got that brace on his left elbow. They just changed that apparatus this week to try to make things easier. 4th and 3, going for it. Nix, and a flag on the Cowboys. Sterling Moore, hands were tangled up.
Pass interference. Number 26 defense. First down. Spot of the foul.
Good quick decision by Matt Hasselbeck. Goes down the sideline. Did look like there was some contact. 5 yards. Once you get past 5 yards, you can't put your hands on the receiver like that. Push, pull, whatever. It was a good call. Sterling Moore comes in at corner when 3 wide receivers are in the game because Orlando Scandrick goes inside and plays either another receiver, right now playing the tight end.
Scandrick blitzing. Hasselbeck gets hit by Scandrick. The ball is ruled incomplete. And Scandrick was already taken off down the field. You just mentioned him, and he came around the right tackle and got a hit on Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck wants to hurry him to the line because he thinks he might have fumbled.
Yeah, it's close.
He doesn't want anybody to have time to look at the review or the replay. But here it is. Now the officials meet and they change their ruling, their initial ruling, and call it a fumble. Recovery Dallas. They'll be looking at that. Here it is, the ruling on the field. It's a fumble. And we're going to Scandrick coming in and forcing that fumble, which was recovered by Selvey of the Cowboys.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It's Dallas's ball.
It's close, Phil. You know, some might look at it and say, I think the hand was just starting to go forward.
Yeah, you think that, but the ball is knocked loose, it looks like, from Scandrick from behind.
And here's the recovery. Again, initially, that's why they didn't really quite play it out. He was slammed down, but they ruled it initially as an incomplete pass. 3 officials met and changed it to a fumble. Mike Carey's back in New York. Did you see it that way too, Mike?
Well, what I saw is that if I was reviewing this, I would have to leave whatever they called on the field as the play that stands. 2-part review, the pass fumble, they ruled fumble. There was a clear recovery. That's the way it goes.
It was that close. All right. Look at Randall working through a very small crack and picking up about 3. Thank you, Mike Carey.
Thank you, Mike. Well, Orlando Scandrick, soon as you start talking about him, makes a play. And listen, he might have one of the hardest jobs on the team. He plays outside on 1st and 2nd downs or whatever, and on 3rd down, one of the few guys in the league that plays the 3rd receiver or the slot receiver, which is extremely hard to do for a corner.
He's a vocal leader, and he was telling us yesterday, we're still not there yet. We got to create more turnovers. Got to get better. Well, they've created 3 turnovers in this game as quarter number 3 is down to its final seconds. Cowboys up 35-0, and inside of the 40 with that throw to Bryant.
Hey, these are two pretty good corners they're catching these passes against. And Tony Romo, it's like he hands the football to the receivers. Catching it is quite easy the way he's throwing the football.
Romo 18 out of 19, 218 yards, 4 touchdowns, and setting today again the Cowboy franchise record for yardage. Well, the Cowboys are just a quarter away from erupting into Texas-sized celebration. The first postseason will be cinched. 15 minutes out, their first since '09. The division title will belong to them, and by virtue of that, the Eagles will be eliminated. They needed the Cowboys to lose here today to still have a chance. Pushed back by the Colts. That was Randall getting set back a couple. Here was the touchdown pass from Romo to Witten.
Really good job finding Witten. Nice little double move down the middle. That's why he was open. Good job by Tony Romo looking it off.
Romo needs one more completion to qualify for the single game completion percentage record in NFL history. He's not going to come here. Instead, he's going to slide at the 30 with a marker in the secondary down.
Holding. Number 50 defense. 5-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Well, Jarrell Freeman, number 50, the linebacker, against Jason Witten. Pretty tough. Outside release, going to come back inside, and that contact is past 5 yards.
Single game completion record. Again, you have to have 20 attempts. Kurt Warner for Arizona back in 2009 in a game. He was 24 of 26. Romo's 18 out of 19. Randall and Adams read that one for another loss.
I'm not trying to be funny, but safest place in this stadium for Tony Romo is right where he is. Not getting hit, lots of protection, a lot of time to throw, and then even when he is pressured, massive holes for him to run up into.
By the way, he came into this game tied with George Blanda on the all-time NFL touchdown list, tied for 23rd with 236. He's moved past already in this game, not only Blanda that he was tied with, but Jim Kelly and Lynn Dawson.
Hey, Ernie, step right.
Into 20th all-time number of touchdown passes. And there is his second incompletion, nearly a pick, and it could have been a run back for Sergio Brown.
Yeah, I think he saw the blitz coming, and I don't know if Cole Beasley saw it. Comes from this side. Here it comes, and then he's expecting an adjustment to the route, and he did not get it.
Well, they've got a bad case of the drops on the offensive side, and now the defense gets into the act. That was the first incompletion. Remember, Werner coming in and knocking that as first drive of the game, and just a moment ago, his second. So Tony slumping now down to 90% for the afternoon. He had hit 16 straight before that last one. As Randall takes a couple of Colts with him, and the ball comes out. Cowboys are there for the recovery, it appeared. Well, had it for a moment. Randall got the first down yardage, then the ball popped out. And it stays. Nope. They rule it. Jackson with the recovery. It's a 12-yard run and a fumble. Looked like Williams was going to recover for the Cowboys, but Jackson wrestled it away from him. Cowboys have just turned it over for the first time today. Not the only thing that's gone wrong for them. Randall coughed it up after picking up a first down on the run. Tell you, the Colts have not been shut out in a regular season game in 21 years. That's a span of 335 games. They got 12 and a half minutes to try to extend that streak. Put something up. Here's the fumble. Adams took it out of his hands. You know, look, I don't know how Williams, a receiver, didn't get full control of that.
Yeah. Slipped out once he got on it. It looked like he had it, and good job by Mike Adams, who Chuck Pagano said has really come in and done a fabulous job. That was his words, directing that defense when they need it.
2nd and 10. To the ground with Herron. Herron, who started to see action just after midseason with the injury to Ahmad Bradshaw. And here's a look at today's nationwide Skycam. As you look at it, talk to me a little bit about, they know they're going to need to run the football in the playoffs. They were really emphasizing this in meeting with us last night. They wanted, if this game had become like a normal game, they were going to be ground heavy today. They have Herron, they have Richardson. Can that backfield get it done in the postseason?
Well, you know, you don't blame the backfield. My answer is probably not. You're going to have to go with who you are, and that's a passing football team, and you put the football in the hands of Andrew Luck.
Ball in the hands of Hasselbeck on 3rd and 8, and over the head it sails past Hakeem Nicks.
You know, Jim, that's just not something you turn on. They haven't run the football well all year long. They've had a few spurts where they were, I guess, consistent, but when the competition gets better, they have a harder time running the football. And hey, you throw it and you try to keep the defense honest by running the football once you get to the playoffs.
McAfee. And Harris on the run. Gets it past the 50. 44-yard punt, and they continue to push and shove. A lot of frustration out on the field for one side.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Intuit QuickBooks, supporters of small businesses and all the ways they own it. Amazon's new Fire HD, powerful tablet, endless entertainment. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
There's a little Christmas spirit over in the great city of Fort Worth, Sundance Square. Here we are at AT&T Stadium, right between Fort Worth and Dallas in Arlington. Tony Romo has been taken out after leading this team to 35 points or more for the 3rd straight game. Whedon in at quarterback. And Randall is not only Romo is finished for the day, but we understand Murray is also finished. Brandon Whedon, who filled in for Tony in a game this season against Arizona. And the Cardinals came in here and beat the Cowboys in this stadium. He also came in the previous week against the Redskins back on October 27th.
Played very well against the Redskins. You know, get your first start with a new team against the Arizona Cardinals. You saw them a couple of weeks ago. That defense, the blitzing, pretty tough to make your first start against that team.
2nd and 6. And Randall. Let's go back to Tracy.
Yes, that's right, Jim. Looks as though DeMarco Murray's day is finally done. Gloves off, hat on, talking to players on the sideline, smiling, everyone asking him if he's okay. He's just saying, yeah, I feel okay. The biggest smile for Tony Romo, certainly no reason to keep him out there right now, guys.
22 carries, 58 yards for Murray, which means he'll go into week 17 at Washington and need 29 yards to break the Cowboys single-season rush mark of Emmett. 3rd and 6. Whedon has Williams. Touchdown, Dallas. Perfect strike from Brandon Whedon.
Well, that was beautiful. Top of your screen, Terrence Williams. And, you know, Greg Toller's expecting, hey, backup quarterback, probably going to throw it short. But the game plan is, if you're going to bump the wide receivers, they're going to go deep.
Roger Staubach visiting with Governor Christie, Emmett, and Jerry Jones. Christie grew up as a huge Cowboy fan, and especially a fan of Roger Staubach's. Has a signed football from Roger in his office back in New Jersey. 42-0. Can you believe it? Whedon to Williams, who is in for the second time today. Terrence Williams. The Cowboys have never shut out an opponent while scoring more than 40 points. And Cribbs reach back behind the inline to catch it and then run it out. The early headlines: the Steelers make the postseason with the win over the Chiefs. They're going to have a huge game against Cincinnati next week. Green Bay's in. They qualify, and next week they'll play the Lions for the NFC North title. Cam Newton and the Panthers beat the Browns today, and Carolina and Atlanta, week 17, will be playing for the NFC South crown. Which if it will be the Green Bay Packers hosting the Lions next week. Here's Hasselbeck. And Nix is pushed back by Wilbur and others.
It's like a preseason game. Now the Cowboys have brought in all their reserves. We saw the backup quarterback Whedon. Now we see a lot of backup defensive players too.
Got to feel good for Brandon Whedon to come out of here and get a chance to throw a strike down the field like that from outside of 40. 2nd and 11. Max raining down in the area of where Nix was the target.
I think, the Dallas Cowboys very lucky and fortunate to have Brandon Whedon as their backup. I like his talent. He's got a tremendous arm. You saw that. Fits this offense very well.
Personal foul, face mask, number 20 defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, first down.
Patman called for that. And here's the last time we talked about it. It's been 21 years since the Colts were last shut out. And it was a game against the Patriots. At the old stadium up there in Foxborough.
You could tell it was cold.
Yep.
To go! Davis! The 5!
First down, Hasselbeck gets it to Doyle. And Doyle able to stay on his feet for a first down. It's the 3rd longest streak right now in the league. Longest streak without being shut out. The 49ers go all the way back to this 3rd longest of all time. You see the 49ers had a streak from 77 through 04. The Denver streak is active. Colts have the 3rd longest streak. Tipton is in at running back. The rookie from Central Michigan. Zerlin Tipton. Hasselbeck able to get away from the contact. And that's Fleener. Tackled down by Spillman. Week 16 continues. Sunday Night Football tonight, 8:30 Eastern on NBC. Seattle at Arizona. And then tomorrow on ESPN, a big one. Denver and Cincinnati. They both are. Starting to look at Week 17. Seattle was to win this game tonight against Arizona. If that happens, then you'll have the West up for grabs next week. The North and the South. Only the Cowboys would have clinched a division. Here's Hasselbeck with a flag on the field. Able to get it over to Tipton. Of course, on the NFC side.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, number 20 defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
Here's a look at the NFC. And again, Seattle and Arizona, we've already given the Cowboys the win to get up to 11-4 now on the year. Dallas beat Seattle earlier in the year at Seattle, so they'll be rooting for the Seahawks to win tonight. They'd like to get matched up, if you will, record-wise with the Seahawks, because they would have the head-to-head tiebreaker. They lost to Arizona, the Cowboys did. Of course, Philadelphia, because we've, again, already established that. Cowboys with the win. Philadelphia is eliminated. Half a quarter to go. Colts at the 33 of Dallas. Knicks. Spot him near the first. On the AFC side, New England, Denver, and Indianapolis had already claimed their divisions before this week. Pittsburgh qualifies for the playoffs. San Diego, you never would have believed it at one point last night, down 21. They would come out of the weekend. They not only would win that game, they'd come out of the weekend with the 6th position as Baltimore lost to Houston. What a story that is with Case Keenum being signed this week, coming back home and leading the Texans to victory today. And that's Hasselbeck being sacked. It's Wilbur. But San Diego, if it wins next week at Kansas City, it will be in the playoffs as a wild card. By the way, Baltimore, Buffalo, Houston, and Kansas City. Or all these teams needing some help, especially Buffalo, because the Bills are down out in Oakland heading to the 4th. They're out if they lose that game, the Bills. 2nd and 17. It's to Fleener. You know, Fleener told us something yesterday in a meeting. It was very interesting. And it came in as a 2nd-round pick. Teammate of Flock said Stanford. Everybody knows those two go way back. He had a hard time adapting to the NFL football until about this year. Smart guy, grew up in the Chicago area, missed the stripes on the football.
College, they have the stripes, easy to see when it comes down the field, and he's had a very hard time tracking the football. Now look at those things. They rub them up. They're almost black, some of the footballs of the team. So he has adjusted. He's adjusted to the league well. He's definitely worthy of a 2nd-round pick. He's played well.
Yes, he has been really coming on, seeing and tracking the ball better as that pass was going back to Fleener, but 3 Cowboys in the area. 4th and 10, and they're going to go for it. Rod Marinelli, the old coach, and a historian of the game who keeps photos of the old Cowboys in the meeting rooms. He wants that shutout. 5.5 to go. Wants his defense. Look how fired up he is.
Yeah, if you break an assignment, he's going to let you know. He goes, they're men. You got to teach them so they can learn.
Timeout, Colts.
They know how to take his coaching.
Colts decide to take the timeout, set up a play here. 4th and 10 coming up.
I'd take a field goal.
You just avoid the embarrassment of a shutout.
I absolutely would. I wouldn't hesitate. I'd send them out there, kick the field goal, and you go, well, that's not good gamesmanship. Well, you know what is gamesmanship? Cowboys threw a long pass down the field, up 35-0.
Cowboys back off the blitz, and Hasselbeck goes deep, and the Cowboys get the interception. It's Carr, but a flag is in the end zone. And Marinelli knows what that means, in all likelihood.
Pass interference, number 39 defense. Penalties decline.
So Carr not only doesn't get the pick, he gets called for the infraction.
They got that mixed up. He means 39 defense. He was thinking the other way. Yeah, there's a lot of, you could see the left arm of Brandon Carr out there against Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, Bill Levy obviously did not mean the penalty is declined. They're set up at the 1.
Yeah, just too much contact. Left arm in front of Reggie Wayne, pretty easy call.
They've got a backup defensive player, Andrew Jackson, in the backfield, 54. Hasselback throws, and it's a touchdown for the Colts. Zerlin Tipton.
Well, you got backup players in there, and when you do, plays like this are going to work. Down on the goal line, there's no way you had a chance to work on this during the week. It's like a preseason game. Play action passes in the flat down on the goal line against backup players always work.
Adam Vinatieri, who has not been seen since the opening. Well, hasn't been seen at all. He doesn't even handle the kickoff chores, so that's a first appearance for Vinatieri, who has not missed a kick all season. Extra point good.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Macy's. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
5:24 to go, and McAfee and the Colts are looking like they're going to go ahead and onside kick it here, Phil.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little surprised, but you play it out to the end. That's what Chuck Pagano's telling his team.
Well, they're not doing it after all. They kick it right over the head of Harris. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. And Scott Pelley reporting from Cuba, followed by new episodes of Undercover Boss, The Mentalist, and CSI. Tonight only CBS. Undercover Boss, the mayor of Pittsburgh is the undercover boss. I thought that was Jim Rohr.
He's not undercover, he's just the boss.
Yeah. Runs the city. Of course, that city is happy today after the Steelers took care of business against Kansas City. 1st and 10. How about a little free D look at that Whedon touchdown throw, Phil?
Beautiful throw down the right sideline. Look at the arc of the football. It's Brandon Whedon. You can never say he can throw a pretty pass. Like I said, he's an excellent downfield thrower. Just in a terrible situation in Cleveland. Like so many franchises, they expect you to be drafted, come in, and get it done right away.
Watch him coming, Jay.
So it's always easy. Blame the quarterback and get another.
Second
2nd and 6. And Dunbar runs in to Sergio Brown right away. And the Colts are going to see their 4-game win streak come to a close.
Well, the story of this game today was Dallas's offensive line to start. Protecting Tony Romo so well that it allowed extra time. He looked around the field. He made the plays. No pass rush by the Colts. But Dallas's defense, that has to get them excited. The fact that they played so well against an offense, they can put up a lot of points.
And Dunbar going to mark it a little short of the first. The last time Chuck Pagano came in here to take on the Cowboys, he was the defensive coordinator with the Ravens, going against the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys that day, Jason Garrett. It was the last game ever played at Old Texas Stadium.
Right.
And Pagano and the Ravens came in, and as he said it, we spoiled their party.
Yeah,
Baltimore won it 33-24. That was at the end of the 08 season. The Cowboys came in here in 09. But Pagano and the Colts didn't come in here and spoil any Cowboy party today. The Cowboys were out to celebrate if they could pull it off, win a division title. Next Sunday, through flexible scheduling, the NFL and CBS will deliver a doubleheader. Not exactly sure of the times and the sequencing of these games, but we do know this. It'll all start at noon Eastern time with JP and Tony and all the crew. They're already back there preparing for next week's NFL Today at noon Eastern time. This is what the AFC playoff picture looks like. That Cincinnati-Denver game tomorrow night looms large. Running play. And Tipton is brought down. Tackled by Mincy. Look at the NFC side. You see Atlanta over there in the hunt. Atlanta will play Carolina. In fact, the Panthers will be in Atlanta, and they will play for the division title.
Hard to believe. Just the way both teams struggled all year long, and you have a chance to win your division and go to the playoffs.
2nd and 13. Tipton down by Wilbur, who loses a helmet for a moment. By the way, Seattle, you saw an X by the Seahawks name. They actually got into the playoffs, qualified by virtue of this Cowboys victory. It just, when you start shaking out all of the tiebreakers and everything that comes out of it, you see DeMarco Murray visiting with the Cowboys' longtime executive communications director, Rich Dalrymple.
Just cooling out on the bench. It was a hard day for Rich. You know, he put a lot of work in and he needed a break. Somebody get him some Gatorade.
How about a Gatorade bath for Rich?
Well, I would like that.
Minute warning on this 60-yard long screen. They posted this, and this crowd erupted. No nail biting for week 17 this year for the Cowboys.
Neutral zone infraction, number 93 defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Still a lot to settle as far as the seedings at the top of the NFC, and so we don't know what the Cowboys situation will be. Of course, they know they've got at least one home game as a division champ. What do you think about their prospects?
This Cowboy team, it's for real. Solid defense, but it's their offensive line. We talked about it, Jim. They dictate the game so much, you got to play on their terms. And when you do that, it's hard to beat anybody in this league.
3rd and 4. And that's Doyle bouncing off the first hit and plowing ahead for another 5. And again tonight on CBS. All new, 60 Minutes, then Undercover Boss. The final season of The Mentalist and CSI, all new.
I know this. The Indianapolis Colts, they got a lot of thinking to do how they're going to go into this postseason.
They're going to take on Tennessee next week, week 17. Of course, they now, with this loss, are guaranteed of playing on the wild card weekend as a host. Will the Colts? Will be either a 3 or a 4.
Well, you know, they played a good offense here today, and they tried 2 strategies. One, to be aggressive. That didn't work. And then when they set back, that one didn't work either. So when you get in the playoffs, especially, you know, the teams we're talking about, Denver, when you talk about Pittsburgh, New England, those are all really good offenses.
Toss over to Tipton. Man, rookie out of Central Michigan who scored the Colts touchdown just a short while ago, picks up another 12. It's the time of year, too, where people are going to really start locking in on things such as the most valuable player, the coach of the year. DeMarco Murray, you know, some lists have had him up there. He's going to win by a landslide the rushing title. Then you got Jason Garrett, who I haven't seen his name. Again, the storyline behind him always seems to be about what are the Cowboys going to do and the doom and gloom stuff.
Well, so many.
You've got to put Garrett and Arians right at the top.
Yeah, they're not
Jim Caldwell,
They're not going to put Jason Garrett up there because they're all naysayers to begin with. So when you're against him, how can you turn around and say, hey, what a great job he's done? Most people who were against the Cowboys are still waiting for that one game when it falls apart, and that's just the way it is.
To the end zone and incomplete. At the last moment, Sterling Moore stripped it out of Doyle's hands.
That was a really good job. Sterling Moore covering the outside receiver, but his other job is to watch the inside receiver, and that's Doyle. So he has to come in and stop that type of pass. A seam. Good play by Sterling Moore.
How about some Cowboy consideration on that MVP side with Romo now up to 32 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. I know you've got Rodgers and J.J. Watt and Peyton and Tom Brady.
Tony Romo would be right up there in my eyes. What he's overcome, how he's played.
Tipton. Seconds to go. Jason Garrett and the Cowboys. One last play and it'll be official. Hasselback to Nix. He's out of bounds, and the Dallas Cowboys are the NFC East champions. All you heard about coming in, this was the last ranked defense a year ago, and they lost guys like Sean Lee to Marcus Ware, then to free agency. The coach getting the chance to enjoy the ice bath. And he deserves it.
Well, he does. The organization, the team, Jason Garrett, they've done a tremendous job with this team to really bring them from nowhere to be 11-4, quite an accomplishment.
Tonight on CBS 60 Minutes, undercover boss, the mentalist, CSI, and Des Bryant is jumping for joy. Tony Romo has a record day here. 90% throwing. Franchise record yardage, 4 touchdowns. Dallas demolishes Indianapolis 42-7. For Phil and Tracy, Jim Nantz saying so long from Dallas. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, and right now let's go to James Brown in New York.